Allah, Allah. Start your day with remembrance of Allah. Start your day with remembrance of Allah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Amma ba'd. فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. Dear viewers and listeners of Madani Channel, welcome to another fantastic episode on this silsila, The Early Echo. Wherever you are in the world, we hope that you and your family are safe and sound. When you are making dua, don't forget to make dua, not just for yourself and your family, but also for your community, for fellow Muslims, for the ummah out there that are going through many different challenges, trials and tribulations. Make dua to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that for the sake of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, that he grants relief to the ummah, shifa and cure to those who are sick and suffering, and protection against the oppressors. Well, today we have a very lovely, at the same time thought-provoking topic, and that is to mend relations, whether with our family members, with other Muslims in our locality, whoever it may be. But primarily the starting point for that is with your family. How many cases do we know of that where the parents and the children are not on talking terms, siblings are not on talking terms, and this carries on for years sometimes, and one of them passes away? So do you really want to live like that? What a way to go. That you will live with regret. I should have, would have and could have, but I didn't. So stay tuned for that discussion. And to discuss that, we have none other than our respected, our honorable Maulana Sayyid Muhammad Madani. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
How is Maulana Sahib doing?
Alhamdulillahi ala kulli hal. I'm doing fine, Maulana Sahib. How are you keeping?
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen ala kulli hal. Whatever our condition is, all praises are for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. He has blessed us with many bounties, many benefits, many blessings.
Yes.
And we should be thankful. Even if days are difficult, those are the times of sabr, of patience. Today we're going to be talking about mending of relations, of family ties, our relationship with others.
MashaAllah.
And it's a very important topic of discussion because we see the cases out there, especially being part of the Spiritual Cures Department of Dawud Islami. It's not a good picture out there. At times it's very scary how people are living their lives and in total isolation from each other, especially, kids away from their parents. And But I've come to a realization, the further a person drifts away from Islamic values and teachings, the more trouble he puts himself into.
Yeah. It boils down to that.
Yeah, that's the foundation. Your foundation is Islamic knowledge, Islamic values, Islamic teachings. If that is not set properly, firmly, then there's going to be issues in life. Anyways, let's remember the beautiful hadith, Niyatul Mu'mini khayrum min amalihi. The intention of a believer is better than his action. So how about we make some good intentions? Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, I'm watching, I'm listening to the silsila for your pleasure and happiness, for the pleasure of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm here to seek knowledge of deen. What I learn, I will try to practice and share with others as well, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal. Life is short and time is fast, so now is the time, not the past. The past is gone, we can't change that. The future is uncertain, we don't know what's going to happen around the corner. What matters is the present, the now. And so we should dedicate some time daily for our own benefit. Take out some time to recite the Quran with translation from Kanzul Iman. Recite salawat, durud pak, istighfar, make sincere tawbah daily. Recite dhikrullah, seek knowledge of deen from authentic sources and scholars. Make up your mindset that I need to do my best to abstain from sins, to fulfill rights of others, to respect and love my parents, respect my spouse, my siblings, my children, my neighbors, fellow Muslims. Make up this mindset, because if you change your mindset, you change everything. The daily I need to be punctual with my salahs and I must perform them properly. And of course, obey Allah and His Rasul Azza wa Jalla wa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. These things will help us through the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will help us in this world, in the grave and the hereafter as well. Don't live with regret, not just confined to this world, but extreme regret when you are face to face with the angel of death, and intense regret on the day of judgment. But then it's too late. So make the right choice. Obey Allah Azza wa Jalla and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and refuse to obey your nafs, your desires, your base self, and refuse to obey the desires of societal norms as well. Let's listen to a lovely kalam and we'll be right back. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
مدینے جانے والو جاؤ جاؤ فی امان اللہ. مدینے جانے والو جاؤ جاؤ فی امان اللہ. کبھی تو اپنا بھی لگ جائے گا بستر مدینے میں. نہ ہو مایوس دیوانوں پکارے جاؤ تم ان کو. نہ ہو مایوس دیوانوں پکارے جاؤ تم ان کو. بلائیں گے تمہیں بھی ایک دن سرور مدینے میں. سرور مدینے میں. سوچتا ہوں میں وہ گھڑی کیا جب گھڑی ہوگی. سوچتا ہوں میں وہ گھڑی کیا جب گھڑی ہوگی. جب در نبی پر ہم سب کی حاضری ہوگی. جب در نبی پر ہم سب کی حاضری ہوگی. سوچتا ہوں میں وہ گھڑی کیا جب گھڑی ہوگی. آرزو ہے سینے میں گھر بنے مدینے میں. آقا آرزو ہے سینے میں گھر بنے مدینے میں. ہو کرم جو بندے پر بندہ پروری ہوگی. ہو کرم جو بندے پر بندہ پروری ہوگی. بندہ پروری ہو. سوچتا ہوں میں وہ گھڑی کیا جب گھڑی ہوگی. جب در نبی پر ہم سب کی حاضری ہوگی. بات کیا ہے بات صبا اتنی کیوں معطر ہے. بات کیا ہے بات صبا اتنی کیوں معطر ہے. سبز سبز گنبد کو چوم کر چلی ہوگی سبز سبز گنبد کو چوم کر چلی ہوگی سوچتا ہوں میں وہ گھڑی کیا جب گھڑی ہوگی جب در نبی پر ہم سب کی حاضری ہوگی 100 کھلیں گے اس کے لیے رحمتوں کے دروازے 100 کھلیں گے اس کے لیے رحمتوں کے دروازے نعت مصطفیٰ جس نے ایک بھی سنی ہوگی نعت مصطفیٰ جس نے ایک بھی سنی ہوگی سوچتا ہوں میں وہ گھڑی کیا جب گھڑی ہوگی جب در نبی پر ہم سب کی حاضری ہوگی دیکھ تو نیازی ذرا سو گیا کیا دیوانہ دیکھ تو نیازی ذرا سو گیا کیا دیوانہ ان کی یاد میں شاید آنکھ لگ گئی ہوگی ان کی یاد میں شاید آنکھ لگ گئی ہوگی سوچتا ہوں میں وہ گھڑی کیا جب گھڑی ہوگی جب در نبی پر ہم سب کی حاضری ہوگی بلا لو ہم غریبوں کو بلا لو اے میرے آقا میں آؤں آپ کے در پر کرم ہو اے میرے آقا
صلو علی الحبیب صلی اللہ علی محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم. I'm sure you enjoyed that beautiful kalam. Continue listening to these kalams and recite along as well. Get your offspring to also listen and recite. It will help to develop that love of Almighty Allah and His Rasul Azza wa Jalla wa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam in our hearts. It will help to develop the love of Sahaba Ikram, Ahlul Bayt and Awliya Allah in our hearts, inshaAllah ta'ala. Allah Jalla Jalaluhu take us all for Hajj and Umrah time and again. Take us to visit Medina Sharif, Aqsa Sharif time and again. Ameen bijahi khatamin nabiyyin sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Islam places major emphasis on one hand, maintaining family ties. On the other hand, mending relations that have become sour, that there's a breakage now, for whatever reason, for the harmony of your home, for serenity in your society. Islam teaches us. These are Islamic teachings. To mend ties. It is mentioned that Sayyiduna A'amash rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi has stated, whilst present in a gathering in the morning, Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anh said, I urge that person who severs relations, who cuts off ties and breaks family ties, that in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to leave our gathering. It's a major thing. They took it seriously. That if I'm going to make dua and somebody who's there that is breaking family ties, because of him my dua won't be accepted. So leave this gathering. Who is saying this? The great Sahabi, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. He's saying that the person who is breaking family ties, please in the name of Allah leave our gathering so that we can seek forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jal. Because the doors of the sky are closed for the person who breaks off relations. If he stays here, that mercy will not descend. It will prevent our supplication, our du'as from being answered. Allahu Akbar. And today, it's an easy thing. He did this to me, so I'm doing that to him. He didn't attend my function, I won't attend his function. So you think about this. The pious predecessors, the Sahaba who received their training directly from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was how they behaved. This is how they took it. With seriousness. That we don't want people that sever ties in our gatherings when we are making dua. But today it has become so common. Do you know there's different levels of kind treatment to different types of relatives? The first position is the status of the parents. They have the greatest status in this matter of being shown compassion, kindness. Thereafter, according to Sharia, is the dhu rihim mahram, those relatives with whom it is forbidden to marry. And thereafter the other relatives, they will follow. We're talking about in treating them with kindness, with compassion, with mercy. Parents are first, then those relatives with whom marriage is haram, it is forbidden because of nasabi, because of genealogical relationship with them, and then the status of the other relatives, depending upon how close they are, will follow. But today we see, it's a sad reality.
Ji.
Again, we're talking about Muslims.
Right.
A lot of Muslim youngsters out there, especially when they qualify or they become professionals, they get their degrees, they get a good job, they want to move away from their parents. Because, they want that independence.
Right.
Now, some people will say, okay, I understand that you want to develop your own home. But, at least it is still your responsibility to look after your parents.
Yeah.
Because your entire life, they looked after you.
100%.
Imagine that we reach a stage where a daughter or a son wouldn't mind serving a stranger, dishing out food for a stranger, but does not provide any food for their parents. That the daughter or son, that the parents that struggled for so many years to look after them, gave them a safe and secure environment, provided food for them, gave them unconditional love. Every other person out there is going to love you for some reason. With some string attached, whoever it is, it's only the mother and the father that's going to love you with no strings attached, unconditionally. And these are the two people in your life, the only two people in your life that will want and will desire for you to be better than them. Nobody else. Nobody else. And the day you lose them, then you'll realize, I lost the only people that wanted me to be better than them. This is why they tried their best to provide better facilities for you. So parents, they have rights. Doesn't mean if you're married and you have your own children, you neglect them. An ideal setting, if you want your own independence, is that if you're buying your own place, put a granny cottage behind.
Yeah.
An outbuilding in the same property behind. Let them stay over there. They can frequent the house whenever they want, play with the grandchildren. You can visit them, easy access. You can always check on them. But anyway, we're not talking about parents only. That's a whole bayan on itself, whole topic on itself. We're talking about mending relations. And primarily those who break off ties with their parents, because the parents hold the number one status when it comes to showing kindness, according to Sharia. But here we're busy, we don't worry about parents. The unfortunate ones, they dump their parents in the temporary morgues, which is the old age home. We've been to the old age home, Mazur. We went. Eid day we used to go, some Eid days, to spend time with the old people. The orphans in the orphanages. When you see the old man, the tears are coming down, man. And he's just looking, staring like, when my son is coming. Son hasn't come for a few years now. My daughter has, my family hasn't come. They dumped the poor man in the temporary morgue. Good riddance. We don't want to deal with, looking after this old man who spent his energy, who spent his life, his youth, his good looks to provide you, to make you where you are, to bring you to where you are. And what goes around will come around.
Yeah.
Wait for the day that you are dumped in that by your son, by your daughter. It's going to happen. If it doesn't happen here, you're going to be in big problems on the Day of Judgment. And some people say, no, but I can't look after them because I'm working and stuff.
Yeah.
You're paying for the old age home. Take the same money, pay for a nurse that can come to your home and to assist you. Don't just throw them in the rubbish bin. That's ungratefulness. It's going to happen to you in some way or the other. And then those who break off ties with their brothers and their sisters, that no, they don't, keep in touch with me. This is where arrogance is going to come in. No problem. If they never keep in touch with you, and you think that's bad, if you behave in the same manner, what that makes you? What does that make you? Nobody keeps in touch with you. There's a saying that every home needs a hero.
Subhanallah.
The hero is the one who sacrifices. Nobody wants to keep in touch with each other or me.
Yeah.
I'll be the one. Even if it means just sending messages once a week, once a month, just to keep in touch with everyone. How are you? Everything okay? How are you? Everything okay? Just to keep that line open, the door of communication open.
Yeah.
Even if they don't reply, one day they're going to reply. And they'll feel like, ish, that's the only person that keeps in touch with us. Then have a get together at home. Maybe small Khatam Sharif, Isa Sawab. Say, come. I'm inviting you at home. Or if you can, go and visit them. Or if they're overseas, keep in touch. Technology is there, use it. We're using it for everything else. Why don't we use it to mend ties? If you do have some major issues, then you know what, life is too short. Sit together, discuss it, get over it. Because you don't want to have regrets when the person is gone and the person left and you had the opportunity, you had the chance, but your ego, it's the ego.
Yes, definitely.
The number one reason is the ego. Me. Why must I? My ego. Same thing brought shaitan down. And same thing is going to bring you down as well. If you're letting your ego rule you and boss you and bully you, that's weakness. Be better than that. You pick up the call. If right now, if you're watching this, and you have some issue with your brother, with your sister, with your parents, with your children, be the better person. Communicate with them. Even if it's not your fault, ask for forgiveness. Let bygone be bygones. Let's mend ties. I'm sorry. Let's start afresh. Because today, tomorrow, you'll be gone. They'll be gone.
Also, Master, there should be transparency and clarity as well. Because when that is not in place, when that's not there, then you get problems occurring due to now backbiting, due to slandering, due to lying, due to talking bad about that person, all of these will come in having bad thoughts about that person. It will come in when there is no transparency on the matter, no clarity on the matter.
Right.
And we are just hearing things, from that third person, from this person, but not directly from the person himself. So
Right.
if we, are going through any sorts of problems or differences at home, instead of, cutting ties, and most of the time it's over trivial matters in which the solution is simple, but yet they will not be able to take it. Why? Because of ego, as you've mentioned, Muhassab. Because of ego. Ego is that which is stopping them from being the first to go forward. So if we have to avoid all of this and not cut family ties and come to an understanding, come to a conclusion, then there would be hope that there would be a way forward. A solution would occur.
If somebody says, no, but my brother, my sister, they hurt me, they insulted me, so why should I communicate with them?
Then, so one should think that, for example, right, I have one person, and say, for example, is my brother, and he's being good to me, I am being good to him. And on the other hand, I have another family member. He is not good to me, but I don't have any communication with him. I don't talk to him, nothing.
So is it okay that he's bad to me, so I can be bad to him?
Now, in regards to that, it's not okay, right? Because the person may think that, why are you telling me I'm bad towards my family members? I'm good. Look at them. I'm good to them. I do good to them. They do good to me. But on this hand, they hurt me. They said this. They said that. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to call me. So I will do the same. So one now has to check within themselves, which side are they on? Because if the person considers this to be good treatment, where he's doing me good and I'm doing him good, and on the other side you're doing the total opposite, then what kind of good treatment is that? It can't even be called good treatment, because on this side where someone is, doing something for you, saying good things to you and giving you gifts, and you doing the same, that is tit for tat. That is just exchanging. But on the other hand, good treatment is that in which someone is bad to you, someone hurts you, someone wants to cut off ties with you, but you still go there and mend those ties.
Subhanallah.
That is now good treatment. That is called being good towards one's family members. And this is actually in accordance with the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he says that the one joining ties with relatives is not he who does so in exchange for good conduct shown to him.
Allah.
Rather, it is the one who joins ties when they are severed. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in another narration, he says that do not become from amongst those who say, if people are good towards us, we will be good towards them. We should not become of those people, and if they oppress us, then we will also oppress them in return. So this is something that we have to avoid. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam advises us further and says, rather, make it your habit to be good towards others when they show good conduct towards you. And if people oppress you, still avoid oppressing them. So if we implement this and think for a moment that this life is short, our days are numbered, what benefit am I going to get out of it? For how long is it going to continue? If no one stands up, the problem would never get solved. So one has to lower themselves, remove that ego out of the way, lower themselves and be the first to go and ask for forgiveness, even though they may not be at fault.
MashaAllah, some lovely Madani pearls there, that what is actually good treatment. It's not that the person is doing good to you, so you do good to them, and that's good treatment and you're happy about it. But the one who has maybe enmity against you, but you're still good to them. In fact, the scholars have advised whether or not somebody treats us gracefully, we must always treat them gracefully. So the person is good to you, then yes, you're good to them. If the person is not good to you, you're still good to them. A blessed hadith mentions that the most superior sadaqah, the most superior sadaqah is the one that is given to a relative who holds concealed enmity. He doesn't like you.
Allah.
Maybe something about you, whatever. It's concealed, you don't know.
Right.
It's enmity. And you're giving sadaqah and charity, you're helping that person out. That's the most superior charity.
Subhanallah.
Now you think about it. That whatever Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said is the absolute truth. And this is part of Sharia. This mending of relations, bringing people back together. Okay, maybe you don't have a problem with the person, but you know these two family members, maybe brother and sister, they're not talking to each other. So like, what am I going to do? No, I shouldn't say anything. You know, that's their problem, it's none of my business. It is your business. That's your brother and sister. No matter what you can do, they are still your brother and sister. Whether you have the problem or they have a problem with each other, you can't erase that fact. That's your sibling, that's your brother, that's your sister. You can't remove that. You may be a friend, you can change your friends.
Right.
How are you going to change your family members? They're there. You know. So if you are being that instrument to bring them together, what reward is in store for you? And it takes courage. It takes effort. And as you know, we hear the phrase, eyes on the prize. That's where the focus must be. What is the prize? Reward. Why are you doing it? Your primary intention must be for my Allah, Azza wa Jal, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then for reward, I'm going to try and bring these two together. This is what our deen teaches us. This is part of Sharia. That, you know, many a times out there, the media doesn't like to cover these things. That Sharia is to love, to respect your parents, your spouse, your children, your siblings. Sharia is to mend relations and maintain healthy relations with each other. Sharia is to fulfill the rights of your neighbors who are close and who are far in your neighborhood. Sharia is about not lying, not backbiting, not having jealousy, not putting people down, not insulting and mocking people, but to uplift people, to empower people. How come they don't want to tell you about this? Sharia is about establishing justice. How come they don't want to tell you about that? Because they know if they're going to make it viral, more and more people are going to say, hey, we want Sharia. Because Sharia is good for us. It's good for our society. That alcohol is bad, that gambling is bad, that the clubbing is bad, that these premarital, extramarital relationships are bad, adultery and fornication are bad. That's part of Sharia. But they don't want to talk about it because they don't want you to get interested in Islam. So break free from all these shackles, and you know, their boss is Shaitan. And Shaitan, he dives in when the brother and sister or parent and child has some kind of an argument. He's jumping inside there, you know, full dive. Hey, how I can make this work and split them apart.
And we think we're winning in that whole process.
Points, we're looking for points because we're going to get a trophy at the end of the day. The louder I scream, the more points I get. In a sense, it's like immature.
Definitely.
I mean, if you compare ourselves to the pious people, it's like absolutely immature. It means I don't have any control over my nafsul ammara, my ego, my carnal desires, my base self. I have no control over that. It's controlling me, so I'm a slave to the nafs, to my ego, to myself. So where's the maturity then? Where's the spiritual maturity? Where's the mental maturity? A person will be 30, 40, 50 years old, but then he's, you know, screaming and shouting and thinking that, you know what, my say goes my way or the highway. You hurt people's feelings, you break off ties. You know, you're just showing everybody that you're a slave of your ego. If there is an absolutely genuine Shari'i concern, it's a different matter altogether if you are keeping a distance. For example, if there's a certain person in your household or your family that's a drug dealer, You don't want that person near your children.
Yeah.
Or he's a drug addict. He's going to end up stealing everything in the house. Stealing from his siblings also. Becoming violent. So, doesn't mean you're just going to throw him on the streets. There's rehabs available. There's things to be done. That's how you can help him. But obviously, when you are admitting him into the rehab, you're distancing yourself from him. But you're helping him in that way. You're following up. You are giving him the moral support. You're giving him ilaj treatments as well. So that's how you're helping him to clean himself up so that he can become sober. I mean, alcohol is on the rise. Look at all these famous people. The majority of them. Go and have a look at the stats and you're going to get shocked. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you do. How many famous celebrities have committed suicide? You'll get a shock. And one of the main causes was OD. Overdose on drugs.
Allahu Akbar.
Drugs. You got so much of fame, so much of money, so much of... But you're busy drugging yourself up and committing suicide? That you are becoming an alcoholic? Or some other things involved in gambling? That has to happen. That you see they change their marriage partners like how they change their socks. Married today, tomorrow gone, divorced, married somebody else, okay, divorced, married somebody else, 4, 5, 6, 7. One child from this one, 2 children from that one child from this one here. The famous people. The actors, the actresses, with the musicians. That's the life you want? They are broken people. Whatever you see, all the smiles you see on the TV, on the movies, it is all fake. They are actors. What is acting? Acting means fake, not real, not reality. They are good actors. And they're acting happy. And they got fanatics and fans that, as soon as they walk in the room and they're screaming and shouting, oh, he don't even know about you. He doesn't know your name. He don't care about you. He doesn't pay your bills. If you're sick, if you're dying, see if he comes and visits you. You worried about that person? Okay, one thing he's worried about. How do I get your money into my pocket? That's what he's worried about only. And we are like, hey, take my money, take my money. It shows you maturity levels. No? Allah Azza wa Jal make us spiritually mature.
Ameen.
For this we have to develop our spirituality. We have to develop our mental self, our emotional intelligence. We have to develop it. And when you see the reality for what it is, you're going to cut all these losses. The team that I'm supporting, you supporting them, that's your team, but you're not their team. That's my team. But according to them, you're not their team. They don't want you nowhere. So long as you're throwing your hard-earned money for those tickets, so they get fat and rich. Okay. Shout out to the fans. Because I'm taking your money in my pocket. That's why I'm giving you some attention. No money from you, go one side. They don't want to know you. Because I'm there and you are there. I'm a celebrity, who are you? I got to move with my bodyguards. Leave that. So mending ties is something that Islam emphasizes on. Because you don't want to, have regrets.
And what we also see is that suppose a person is not wrong, right? And that person was the first to stand up and go and ask for forgiveness. Even though he knows that he's not at fault and the other person was at fault, that person is thinking that no, person B is at fault. So if person A goes towards person B and asks him that, you know what, brother, forgive me, please, for the sake of Allah, forgive me. Right. And if that person doesn't forgive, to show that he's something, to show his ego, he doesn't forgive, then even in this, that person will not be allowed to visit the well of Kawthar, the fountain of Kawthar on the day of Qiyamah. And this is what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions in the hadith. He says that whoever is apologized to by his Muslim brother, but does not accept his apology shall not be allowed to visit my Hawd-e-Kawthar. And on that day, we would all be thirsty. We would want to drink from the blessed hands of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Drink that water from Hawd-e-Kawthar, from the blessed hands of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if our conduct and attitude is like this, where our ego, our stubbornness, our arrogance is overtaking us, then how are we going to achieve that? That is why that we need to remove our ego, not be stubborn, and not only worry about ourselves, but look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is to bring about peace. That's the bigger picture, to bring about peace and a solution and a way forward. Not about being there and saying, oh no, you did this, you did that, and everyone is just about themselves. Then in that way, how could the problem ever get resolved? So if the bigger picture is the objective, then everything will be fine, inshallah. And there's one very beautiful hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he advises us and teaches us that do not turn your backs on each other. No hate one another, no have jealousy, no break ties.
Subhanallah.
O servants of Allah, become brothers of one another. A Muslim is the brother of a Muslim. He does not oppress, deprive, or dishonor him. So this is, how much more concern we need to have for our family members in this regard, not to insult them, not to disrespect them, but to give them that love and respect that they deserve.
MashaAllah Azawajal. So mend ties, be the better person. Don't go down to that person's level of insults and mockery and character assassination and just breaking off ties. It's easy to do it. And the one pushing from behind for this is shaitan. So who you want to make happy? You want to make shaitan happy? Shaitan will be overjoyed. And he focuses full attention on breaking up husband and wife. And especially if there's children involved. He knows that home is going to get messed up. Right? One of the main issues at a societal level of why the so-called free world and first world, their societies have broken to pieces, one of the reasons is because the absence of a father in the house. There's no father in the house. And the mothers cannot discipline the child how the father can. So he wants to create the rift between husband and wife, the rift between brother and sister. He wants to cause a division between parents and children, between family members. So be the better person, beat shaitan. Beat shaitan by being the first one to take the first step, to make the first call. Don't go in with this mentality that, he invited those people for his program. He never invite us. He went to visit that person's house. He didn't come to visit my house. No, he gave that person a gift. He went for Hajj and Umrah. He didn't even tell us. He brought Zamzam Sharif for those people, Ajwa Khajur for those people. He never gave us nothing. Or he gave us Zamzam, he never gave us Ajwa. Don't go. Those are signs of really immaturity. Come on, be the better person.
And those are actually satanic whispers as well.
Yeah,
and how
yes.
easily a person falls prey to it.
Because if a person's iman is not strong and strengthened, and you don't have that spiritual immunity and spiritual maturity, it's easy to fall for the traps of shaitan. We won't even know it. Because shaitan is he's like a trickster. And he tricks a person, and before they know it, there's a beautiful narration, a famous hadith. I want to leave you with this here. Sayyidina Ubay bin Ka'ab radiallahu an has said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the one who wants a palace to be built for him in Jannah and his ranks to be raised should forgive the one who oppresses him, bestow upon the one who deprives him, and maintain relations with the one who breaks off relations with him.
Subhanallah.
So again, look at the prize. Look at, the one who wants a palace built, don't we want those palaces in paradise? It's because it's not easy to do these things. Not easy to forgive the one that, does us down, oppresses us, or deprives us, or breaks off relations, to be the better person and not to oppress that person, especially if I'm in a position of authority, not to deprive that person who has deprived me, and that person who wants to sever the ties, but me, I'm trying my best to continuously mend those ties. So focus on the rewards for the pleasure of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continue mending relations. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Allah, start your day with remembrance of Allah. Start your day with remembrance